Good morning, students. So in the previous lecture, I discussed about vector magnetic potential. I discussed some numerical examples also on vector magnetic potential. So today we'll be starting with a new chapter called magnetic forces. Okay. Now we have already studied magnetic field that due to the various current carrying elements. Okay. Due to conductors, due to loops, due to solenoid. Now we'll be studying about force that a magnetic field exerts on charged particles or current carrying elements. We will study that today. Okay. I repeat once again, as we have already studied magnetic field due to various types of current carrying elements like infinite current carrying conductor, infinite sheet, solenoid, toroid. We will study now the force that a magnetic field exerts on charged particles or current carrying elements. Okay, that we'll study. Okay. Now there are at least three ways in which force due to magnetic field can be experienced. Okay. First case is due to a moving charged particle in a magnetic field. Suppose this is a charged particle. This is moving with a velocity under the influence of magnetic field. Then this charged particle will experience some force. That force is called Lorentz force. Okay. I repeat once again. If a charged particle is there, it is moving in a particular direction with some velocity. Under the influence of magnetic field, it will experience some force, and that force is called Lorentz force. Okay, this is one case. Another case is on a current carrying element in a external magnetic field. Okay, suppose a conductor is there. This is the conductor. It is carrying current in this direction, and it is surrounded by some external magnetic field, not its own magnetic field, some external magnetic field. Okay, this is a current carrying conductor. It is carrying current in the upward direction, and some other magnetic field is there in this region. Then this current carrying conductor will experience some force. Okay, will experience some force. Now, similarly, there can be force between two current elements. Okay, force between what? Two current elements. So third case is what? Force between two current elements. Now what is the meaning of this? Suppose there are two current carrying conductors like this, parallel. Okay, there are two current carrying conductors. They are carrying current in the same direction or opposite direction, maybe whatever it is. Okay, then there will be some force between them. They will experience some force between them. If they are carrying current in the same direction, there will be attraction force. In opposite direction, repulsion force. Okay, that will discuss later. That will discuss later. Okay. So these are the three types of forces which can be experienced due to magnetic fields. Now I've already discussed the electric force on a stationary or moving charge Q. Okay, moving electric charge Q in electric field is given by Coulomb's experimental law. That is nothing but force equals to charge into electric field. Correct. Force F equals to QE. Correct. And shows that if Q is positive, force and electric field have the same direction. Okay. This I have already discussed in the previous lectures. Force equals to charge into electric field. Force on a static charge or moving electric charge equals to Q times into electric field. Okay. Now, in case of magnetic field, it is not the same. A magnetic field can exert force on a charged particle only when it is moving. Magnetic force cannot be experienced on a static charge. Suppose I have a charge particle like this, it is moving in some direction with a velocity, then only it will experience some magnetic force whenever there is a magnetic field present in that region. Otherwise, it won't experience any magnetic force. There has to be some velocity. But electric field will be experienced by both static as well as moving charge. That's a difference. Okay. So it is found that experimentally, the magnetic force experienced by charge q moving with a velocity u in a magnetic field is given as Fm equals to q into u cross b. Charge into velocity cross b means cross product of the velocity and magnetic field. The direction of the magnetic force is given by the cross product of the velocity and the magnetic field. Okay. Now there are two ways of determining the direction of the force. I'll tell you the two ways. One is by screw, right hand screw rule, or Fleming's left hand rule. I'll tell you Fleming's left hand rule first. You try to use this Fleming's left hand rule only. Better. Okay. Try to use only one hand. Okay. So I'll tell you Fleming's left hand rule. Okay. So see, place your fingers like this. This is your forefinger, middle finger, and thumb. Right. Forefinger, middle finger, and thumb. Okay. So forefinger is the direction of the magnetic field. Forefinger is the direction of the magnetic field. This finger is the direction of the magnetic field. Okay. This finger is the direction of the motion or the velocity. Middle finger is the direction of the velocity or the motion. And thumb is the direction of the force. Which force? Force experienced by the charged particle which is moving under the influence of magnetic field. Okay. So just apply like this. So this is magnetic field. This is the direction of the velocity or the motion, and this is the direction of the force. Thumb is the direction of the force. And this is your Fleming's left hand rule for determining the Lorentz force. Similarly, we have right hand screw rule. Okay. Suppose this is v vector, this is b vector. Okay. Suppose velocity is in this direction and this is your magnetic field. Magnetic field is in this direction. Then how to apply right hand screw rule? Just put a, like if you take a screw from this position to this position, it will be like this, what, coming outwards. Okay. If you take from this way, it will be going inwards. But you have to always take from velocity to magnetic field. Okay. So this is velocity, suppose. This is velocity, this is magnetic field. Then take the right hand screw rule like this. Okay. Screw rule. So my thumb is coming outwards. Okay. It's coming outwards. So the magnetic field force is outwards. Force is outwards. From velocity to magnetic field, you should go like this. Force is outwards. So there are two ways of determining the direction of the Lorentz force. Okay. So first of all, what conclusions we got is the electric field or electric force is independent of the velocity of the charge and can perform work on the charge and changes kinetic energy. Okay. Magnetic field is dependent on the velocity of the charge particle. So these are the two inferences we got from this. Okay. So suppose a charged particle which is in motion, that means it is of course having some velocity. So it is under the influence of both electric and magnetic field. Okay. Then how much will be the total force experienced by the charged particle? It is given as F equals to Q into E plus U cross B. It will experience two forces, right? One due to electric field, one due to magnetic field also. Because it is in motion, so magnetic field also will exert some force. Okay, and whether it is in motion or rest doesn't matter. It will experience some electric field if electric force if electric field is there in the region. So you can write F equals to Q into E plus U cross B. Both the forces here, because I have told that it is in motion. As I said, it is called Lorentz force equation. Okay. Now it relates mechanical force to electrical force. If the mass of the charged particle moving in E and B field is m, by Newton's second law of motion, force equals to m dv by dt. Correct? What is force? Rate of change of momentum. So what is dv by dt? dv by dt is what? Rate of change of velocity. That means what? Acceleration. So force equals to mass into acceleration equals to what? Q into E plus U cross B. Okay. So here is a simple chart for a stationary particle and moving particle. The state of the particle stationary, state of the particle moving. Electric field experienced QE. Sorry, force. This is force under the electric field. This is the force for stationary and moving particle both. Magnetic field for stationary particle is zero. Means magnetic force is zero actually. Under the influence of magnetic field, the force experienced by a stationary particle is zero. So moving particle will experience a force of Q into U cross B. Combine E and B fields QE for stationary particle. Only electric field it will experience. That means what? Only electric force it will experience. Moving particle QE plus U cross B. Because if it is in motion, then it will experience magnetic force also. So both the forces will be there. Now, so I'm going to apply the concepts here. I'm going to find out the force on a current element, okay, or force on a current conductor due to a magnetic field B, okay, and here B is an external magnetic field, not its own magnetic field. That means what? Suppose this is a current conductor. It is carrying current in the upward direction like this. So it will have its own magnetic field, right? Like this. By encircling your fingers like this, you can find out the direction of its own magnetic field. But remember, the force is not due to its own magnetic field. If some other magnetic field is present, then what is the force experienced by the current conductor? That we are going to see now. Okay. I repeat once again. Force is not due to its own magnetic field. It is due to some other magnetic field. So you're going to find what? Force experienced by a current conductor due to some other magnetic field B. Okay. Now I already know this equation. Convection current density equals to what? J equals to what? Rho V into U. Now we know this relation already when you are deriving the formulas for magnetic field due to different current elements. We saw these formulas. So there are three types of current elements: line current, surface current, volume current. IDL for line current, KDS for surface current, JDV for volume current. Now IDL equals to what? Rho V into U dV. We can write how? IDL equals to JDV. We can write IDL equals to JDV, both are same, right? IDL equals to JDV, both are same. What is J? Rho V into U into dV. So you can write like this. Now what is rho V into dV? Volume charge density into dV is what? Charge stored, right? Charge density into volume equals to what? Charge stored dq into velocity q. This we have already discussed. So you can write I dl equals to what? Dq by dt into dl. I is what? Current flowing is what? Dq by dt. Rate of flow of charge is what? Current. So I dl equals to what? Dq by dt into dl. Or you can write like this: dq into dl by dt. Correct. dq into dl by dt means what? Change of length with respect to time is what? Velocity. So dq into velocity. I repeat, dq into dl by dt means what? dl by dt is what? Change of length with respect to time. That is nothing but velocity. So we can write ideal equals to dq into u. Okay. So these are the ways you can find out the value of ideal. Okay. This is one way. This is another way. So ultimately, our inference is what? Ideal equals to dq into u. Now, if you read this statement, it shows that an element of charge dq moving with velocity, thereby producing convection current dq into u, is equivalent to a conduction current element ideal. Okay, so dq into u equals to ideal. Thus, the force on a current carrying element ideal in a magnetic field B can be found by merely replacing q into u by ideal, that is ideal cross B. Okay, so basically what you're doing is we are just replacing, instead of qu into current element ideal, q becomes current, u becomes dl. So force experienced by a current carrying element under the influence of an external magnetic field is given by I dl cross B. Okay. Now if the I is through a closed path L or circuit, the force on the circuit is given by line integral of I into dl cross B. Okay. So this is the conclusion. Dot. Force equals to I dl cross B. A small force equals to df equals to I dl cross B. Now total force equals to integration of I dl cross B. Okay. And this B is due to some other magnetic field, maybe due to the magnetic field by some other current element. Okay. That means what? Suppose I want to find out the force on this current carrying element. It is carrying current in the upward direction. Now, as I said, it has its own magnetic field, but that magnetic field won't exert any force. It has to be some external magnetic field. Maybe there's another conductor which is carrying current. So this conductor will generate some magnetic field. And because of this conductor's magnetic field, whatever is the force experienced by this conductor is given by this formula, ideal cross B. Okay. That means the force experienced by this conductor by the magnetic field of some other conductor. Okay. So like we had line current, force due to line current carrying conductor. Similarly, we have surface current, we have volume current. Force due to surface current is surface integration of k ds cross B. Volume current distribution is what? Force equals to volume distribution of, or volume integration of j dv cross B. Okay. So I guess all of you understood this much. Okay, so no doubt. So we'll proceed further. Okay. So we'll see the force between two current elements. Okay. Now see, this is one element. This is one conductor carrying current I1. This is another conductor carrying current I2. Okay. You can see here one circuit here. This is the battery connected. So it is circulating a current of I1. Here also one battery is connected. This circuit. So it is circulating of current of I2. Now let us consider a small current element here, I1 dl1. Okay, a small current element I1 dl1, and here one small current element I2 dl2. Okay, are you getting my point? Now we'll apply Biot-Savart's law here. Okay, we'll apply Biot-Savart's law. Now force on this current element I1 dl1 due to the magnetic field produced by the current element I2 dl2 equals to how much? Okay, I repeat once again. This current element I1 dl1 will experience some force due to magnetic field, and as I said, it has to be some external magnetic field. Now here another current element is there adjacent to this current element I1 dl1, which is I2 dl2. This current carrying conductor is producing some magnetic field, correct, dB2. So force on I1 dl1 due to the magnetic field produced by I2 dl2 we will calculate now. So indicate the force by dF1, force experienced by what? I1 dl1 equals to what? That current element I1 dl1 cross of the external magnetic field. External magnetic field is what? dB2. External magnetic field is what? dB2. dB2 because of the current element I2 dl2. Okay. Now what is dB2 here? What is dB2 here? Recall Biot-Savart's law, which I discussed in my previous lectures. dB2 equals to what? Mu naught into I2 dl2 IDL cross AR divided by 4 pi R square. I discussed in my previous lectures already, Biot-Savart's law. This is magnetic field due to the second conductor. Okay. Mu 2 dl2. Sorry, I2 dl2. So dB2 equals to mu naught IDL cross AR is the unit vector divided by 4 pi R21 whole square. So dF1 equals to mu naught I1 dl1 cross whole this thing dB2. Okay. So I am applying Biot-Savart's law and Lorentz law to find out the force on current carrying conductor or current carrying element I1 dl1 due to the magnetic field produced by the current element I2 dl2. Okay. So this is the formula here. Okay. Now how to obtain the total force? Do double line integration. Double line integration for once for L1, once for L2. Double line integration do once for L1, once for L2, because you have here DL1 and DL2. Okay. Now this is what? Force on current element IDL1 due to IDL2. Similarly, you can find out force on current element IDL2 due to IDL1. Again the same thing. Just interchange the terms. Okay. How? Here you have to write I2 DL2 cross DB1. That's what. Just interchange the terms. Okay. Now, if you find out like this, you'll observe that F2 equals to minus of F1. Both are equal and opposite. Both the forces are equal and opposite. As F1, F2 obey Newton's third law, that is action and reaction are equal and opposite. So we will stop our lecture here today. Next class will continue. Okay.